Hey everybody, Larry Capetto here for the Voices of History channel. Thank you for watching my interviews that I've done with all these veterans over the years. I've had the opportunity to travel and interview over 1,000 veterans, and I'm beginning now to share the complete interviews that I did with a lot of my veterans on this channel, so thank you for watching. I have a special segment. I have had opportunity to interact with a lot of these veterans, and I got to know some of them more than others. And one of my all-time favorite heroes, All-Star Hall of Fame, World War II veterans, is Keith Arnold Renstrom. I met Keith Renstrom in Orem, Utah, December of 2004 when I was interviewing for my first film on Iwo Jima. I had the great pleasure and honor to go back to Iwo Jima itself with the Marines and with Keith and his sons in 2006. It was one of the highlights of my life, and that's composed in my fourth film, Return to Iwo Jima. A lot of you who watched my films, I've done 12 films in the series from World War II, the Korean War and the Vietnam War. I've done a film on the Holocaust. I've done films outside of the main film series. I've done one on 9/11, and just a number of catalog films on my website, larrycapetto.com. But I want to bring you a special segment today with Keith Renstrom. He passed away July 4th, 2018. At the age of 97 or 98, I believe, and I never thought he would pass away. You know, I always believe there's going to be a great reunion in heaven of all these veterans. But Keith is gone now from this earth, but his story lives on in my films, in my work, and I had the great honor of going to a school with him in Alpine, Utah, where he lived in that area in 2016 on Veterans Day. That's at the very end of this video. Click on that video, you'll be blessed. But Keith had a war room in his house. This film is called, this segment of video is called The War Room Part 1. I've been there twice, and my eyes were open to, it's like stepping back in time. If you're a gun enthusiast or a history buff, you'll love this video. It's about 30 minutes long. I go into his war room. We look at a lot of the things he had in there, and he explains what a lot of them are and some of the things he used in World War II on Iwo Jima and elsewhere. But it's really, I'm excited to share this because I've not done this before. I pulled this out of my archives. I think his family will be really touched and blessed by this. And I want to bring this to you today the way I saw it back when I visited him. So I visited him several times when he was alive. He's a Marine, always a Marine to the end, gung-ho to the end. I love this man, not ashamed to say I love him. I'm wearing my Marine Corps emblem in honor of him today as I bring you this segment. There will be a part 2 of another trip I took, but just fasten your seatbelts and open your eyes to what I'm going to show you. This history that's involved in this video is awesome, and I just wanted to give you a little introduction to it. So this is called War Room Part 1. And I encourage you to share these videos. I think this one will really be extra special for you. So, and I'd like to thank Brandon Glidden. Brandon, you're my unsung hero with my work today, helping me get these stories out. So thank you. I can't thank you enough for your love for our country and your service to our country, and now helping me to honor our veterans. God bless you. Thank you for watching, and enjoy War Room Part 1. I'm excited. Orem, Utah. Keith Renstrom, Gunny Sergeant. Iwo Jima, 1945. Coming back to revisit my old warrior. We're gonna go inside and see if he's here. Hope we got the right place. It's beautiful here.
Welcome! Hi!
There he is! We want you back on Iwo Jima.
Well, let's go. That's what I want to do.
Come over here to the threshold. Let me shake your hand, man. She's got my camera rolling. I want to give you a hug. This is my buddy.
Larry,
This is him. This is you. 92 years old now?
pardon?
Are you 92?
92.
92.
On March the 21st, 1921, 5 minutes to 5 on a Monday morning, is when I made my entrance into this world. And the doctors and nurses were amazed that a newborn baby could tell time.
You haven't lost your sense of humor, man.
Well, when I got people like you that's better looking than me, I got to keep myself going.
Oh, I don't know about that. We're looking forward to coming in. Can we come in?
Yeah, just come on upstairs.
Okay.
Nancy, come here.
You know,
Let me help you, Ken.
I know that you
This is Nancy.
kissed by lots of people,
oh, I've been kissed by you before
but
too.
you've never been kissed by a master gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps.
I did.
That's 92 years old.
Oh, not 92, no.
Well, she did meet you at 29 Palms.
Yeah. I met you and
I don't think you kissed her though. Wave, Jody.
Well, go upstairs.
Hi.
We had a little flood. One of our sprinklers came on and never went off for a day or so, and it ran into his gun room. So he has had to move all of his things into the family room. So we're kind of messed up down there.
It'll be
but it was
fine.
because of our flood.
It'll be fine.
No problem.
I'll just follow the old warrior downstairs.
Okay.
Okay, you come on. We'll see what you got. Light in the room there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will. Don't look in here because we're still got this flood we had to fight. This is part of my group of the Civil War guys.
Civil War, huh? Okay.
And then I have a picture here of Ira Hayes.
Yeah, I know who Ira Hayes is.
And there's that one. One of my friends who was a Marine sergeant in Korea and came back and got in a fight with the Marines and joined the Army and ended up a colonel. And that he gave me this sign. The Marine gunnery sergeants are God's most excellent creation.
That's good. That's good.
I thought you'd like get a kick out of that.
That's great.
Okay.
Okay.
Just walk in.
okay.
Now everything from that corner right there all the way back around over to this corner is all Civil War stuff.
That's amazing.
And everything on that wall is Indian War stuff. And then a lot of this is Spanish-American War stuff, except the muttons. And they are priceless now. And they were used in the Indian War.
Wow.
There's a glove and mittens. Huh?
Where'd you get all this stuff?
At gun shows and buy it. And now we're using 3 of my guns in the show that we're doing now.
Yeah. These are Civil War guns. That's not something you see too often, is it?
We have a Civil War show running at my theater, and
At your theater?
uh-huh,
What theater is that?
the Valley Center Playhouse.
Now, when you say your theater, do you mean it's just where you go or you own it?
No, it's where we own it. Now that thing right there you might like is from Colorado.
Right there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They numbered it. When the troops, each one of those was numbered. Now he was number in the 2nd Battalion, E Company,
Yeah.
and he was number 41. And then these over here are all marked. Well, this is what's, now this here,
That's incredible.
now that little hat up there had been in my family all my life. My grandfather bought it at the World's Fair in 1906, and he brought a lot of that stuff home. And the old rifle up there, he brought that home. And But anyway, these are the things that I collect, and everything there is original.
Impressive.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Now I'll show you one of the prize things that I just got here. Here is a bayonet for the 3040 Craig. Now this fits the middle bayonet, the short rifle there, which is the Filipino constabulary. They cut them down and then they made these bayonets. And I've never seen one with that little plate on it. That's why I paid $250, but look here. It's got PI, Philippine Island. And that, I paid $250, and before I left the gun show, this guy offered me $500. But I don't want to sell it. But this is the stuff that I collected, you know, and to show you the value. And then all this stuff here is all World War I stuff. This is the blue uniform. It looks just like the blue. I have my blue uniform upstairs.
Yeah.
And then this is, they call it a Marine, but it's not. But the only reason I bought it was for the BAR back there. And then here is the one that I really like, is that camouflage is exactly like the camouflage.
Okay.
And then
Is this your original coat? 4th Marine Division coat?
These are the original, yeah.
Does this still fit you?
No, no. Now everything here, this is a mine detector, this is a Japanese machine gun, this is a Japanese officer.
That looks like, where'd you get that?
Down in Las Vegas at the gun show.
Okay.
And then that's a infantry, just a soldier.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's his hat, and here's the little Jap hat. You can take the little hat off, it's so little.
Oh my goodness.
You can take it off there.
That is pretty cool. Look at that. Japanese hat. I don't think that would fit my head. This is a Japanese helmet?
Yeah.
Wow. That looks like an original Japanese helmet.
Well, it is. Everything in here is original.
Oh goodness.
And then this is the Japanese machine gun, and that's the mine detector. And this is, now if you turn that jacket around,
This one?
you just turn it around.
Okay.
That's, now hang it back up again.
Look at that. There you are.
Now that's what we wore on Iwo Jima.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And then this is the flag that flew on the Arizona, and my son gave me that hat from the Arizona. There's my Thompson Submachine Gun.
That's yours.
No,
But that's one like you used though.
oh, that's what I use, but
Yeah.
that one you can't shoot. Everything's original except the receiver and the piston.
Okay.
But that's the M1 rifle.
Okay.
This is the carbine.
One, that's the carbine.
And that's the little thing there, the hand grenade that we use this little thing on the end over there to put on the M1 rifle, and then we put that on that so you can shoot them off. Grenades like
Now, did you
this.
say this is a M1 or BAR?
Huh?
This a BAR
No,
or an M1?
that's an M1.
Do you have a BAR?
No, I don't. I want one, but it'll be a while before I have get it.
Okay.
That's a hard one to come by, and there's Thompson Submachine Gun cover, and that's the 45 I bought for $20 from the NRA years ago. And then these are, one of my men made that clock for me,
Okay.
and then the other sergeant gave me a set of the new Marine stuff, and these are bayonets right here.
Yeah.
Let me get over here.
Come on over.
These bayonets, the first bayonet for the M1 rifle was World War I.
Okay.
We used that. And then the next bayonet was this one, 42. They made it. And then the next one was this, was World War I. And they took the wooden handle off of this and put this handle on, but it's serial numbered. And then he cut these down for the regular, and then this is the regular bayonet, like that one over there on my Marine pack.
Okay.
And every Marine wore a belt like this with 80 rounds of ammunition in it, and the Marine Corps canteen is different than what the Army canteens were, like this.
Sure.
But we used them both. And then this is for the BAR parts, and this is BAR belts.
Okay.
This is in 34 belt, and then this is World War II belt for a BAR.
Okay.
Okay, and all these things, this is the jungle kit that all Marines wore, and then this is the extra first aid packet.
Okay.
And then here, this is the thing right here that we put on the end of the rifle to
Right.
shoot this off.
Okay.
And then this is the oil cans that we used. And then this isn't my knife because it got stolen, but this is an original Marine Corps knife.
Okay.
And then this is the M1 tool that we used to take the M1 apart. Then they went to plastic, and then that's a clip, empty clip. And then this is the scabbard for the M1 rifle, and this is where that trigger would go in.
Okay.
And then this is my daughter made this for me.
Very nice.
And then this is the machine gun box back here. That's World War II. And then this is a machine gun box. Both of these are machine gun with bullets in them.
That's wonderful.
And then you go to the Marine Corps hats over there, and that Maltese cross I use, and then that's a bazooka shell over in the corner,
Yeah.
and that's a 61 millimeter mortar shell, and then that's a dummy, one of these things that we could shoot off the rifle with that little thing there. And then when we had a hatchet, we had a pick, and we had the shovel. But this is the underwear that I wore up in Iceland that we had, and this is my locker box they gave me.
Wow.
And then if you want to take a picture, take that big shell out right there.
Here.
Yeah. Now that's an 81 millimeter mortar shell.
That's heavy.
But the fuse is gone.
Yeah.
But I bought this one that somebody made a stand out of it, but it's got the fuse, the nose on it.
That's pretty heavy.
It is. Now there's a dummy hand grenade you might want to take and show off.
Dummy hand grenade. You sure if I won't pull the pin though?
Oh, you can pull it.
No, I don't want to pull it.
Well, it's nothing in it because it's
Dummy
got a
hand
hole in
grenade.
the bottom.
Dummy hand grenade explodes. News at 10.
And then here's the other hand grenades. The other one is
Okay.
solid iron,
Yeah.
and that's the first one you use in training. And then you come to this one, which has a hole in the bottom, but you have a cap on it. So you pull the pin and just throw it out. And then the next one is the real one.
There you go.
And then these are the cups. Now you see the two canteens are different.
I see that.
And this one was the old style, and this was the new style. And that lip they put on there so the coffee would get cooled faster. And then that's my dog tags. That little thing right above the tent peg over there.
Yeah.
Larry, grab that, will you?
Here?
Yeah.
This?
Now that's my housewife, we call it. And it has the needles and this little pair of scissors,
Oh, okay.
thread and all that. And I carried that all the time I was in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
Okay, that's the book of Principles of the Gospel. In those silver things, you have saltwater soap and regular soap. And the saltwater soap won't work in fresh water, and the freshwater soap doesn't work in salt water.
Okay.
So we had to have those. Now this is a little, if you'll reach over there and grab that piece of shrapnel. Now that's shrapnel that came off Iwo Jima, and it was skipping along the ground about 300 miles an hour. And this is the kind of stuff that can take your arm right off your, feel how sharp that still is.
I was feeling that already. That's lethal.
I mean, and when it's spinning like this or tumbling, and it's going that fast. And there's another one over there. And I'll put this one back. And hand me this one.
Okay.
Now this one is our 20 millimeter anti-aircraft guns that were shooting at a Jap plane on Iwo Jima. And this fell in my foxhole. They blow apart up there, and then this piece lit right in my foxhole, and I thought, gee, that'll make a good souvenir. So I put it in my thing.
You get both of us in there right here. Okay, good. That's scary to touch that stuff. It's like, wow.
Now, if you'll hand me those two laces there.
Where? Here?
Yeah, they're right there. No, right under your hand. There. Now, we used to spend a lot of time to do this, to wind it. For the leggings, and this is for shoelaces. And we'd lay these out for inspection.
Wow.
And I had used these for inspection.
Well, you passed the inspection, yes, sir.
Okay, and now, let me hold your hand just a minute here.
Come on over.
Okay, that thing right there.
This?
No, the little thing there. Take it off. It'll probably. It's hard to get it back on there again.
Okay, this thing.
I carried that in every battle I was in.
Looks like a pair of vice grips or scissors.
It is. But you just work on it. It'll come out.
Easy now. Hold on.
Now this is Marine Corps wire snips.
Ah, gotcha.
And I used that to cut barbed wire with it on Saipan and on Tinian, and I used this to cut the wires off of the food boxes and the ammunition boxes.
What a story.
Huh?
If only these things could talk, huh?
And I don't think you're going to find one of those
Boy,
hardly anywhere.
you're not going to find that at the hardware store, are you?
No.
Do they issue that to you?
It was issued. It's got Marine Corps. It's issued by the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And it's got Marine stamped on it. Now that little thing up there was the first battle I was in. I carried that for the carbine, and then I got rid of it because I didn't like the carbine, and I borrowed a Thompson Submachine Gun from the Army, and with not any intention of giving it back.
Yeah.
And I carried it from the for Saipan, Tinian, and Iwo Jima. And then this, I carried the very first battle.
Wow.
And that was just too nuisance, so I didn't carry it anymore. And that number up there, 527, is a code number that was used, so our number should have been F Company, 2nd Battalion, 25th Regiment. That's what that meant.
Okay.
Back. And they did that for the things. And then this carbine, or this machete there. And then if you want to see something really that you'll never see before, that first aid packet right there, that one is hanging up there.
Yeah.
Reach over there and take that off, Larry. Can you get in there?
This one?
No, right, that one, right there.
The first aid packet.
Now this has in here sulfa drug,
Right.
and you don't see them anymore because we use sulfa on Kwajalein Atoll, and after that, the sulfa did more damage. It just burned you, and so we used to throw that away. But that's the only one I've ever seen with still the sulfa still in it.
Okay.
And I bought that at a gun show.
That's cool. I like that.
Now the others are different style. One over there is 1918 that I have, and that's the same things that we used pretty much through the war. And then that's a pair of Navy binoculars that I got at a gun show.
Great.
Now, hand me that picture there.
This one?
Yeah. Now this happens to be the Constitution, and that was the first ship commissioned during the Revolutionary War, and we had 5 of them. And this, the Constitution, really is still in service, and it's back there. And if it was to go to war in its day, it's ready to go to war right now. And they sail that, they tell me, every year out there, and there it is. There's that's what and it was cut down real low so they could outrun the British ships. So when the British were like this, then these little, the British called them the racers.
Okay.
And we had 5 of them. And they would come up like this and come in behind the ship. And the first shots fired were the guns on the Marine side, on the starboard side.
Yeah.
And they were fired to knock out the 2 big guns in the captain's quarters and to disrupt the rudder.
Let me just first say it's an honor to be here again in your home. And it was in I believe it was late 2004, maybe 2005 when I interviewed you the first time. And then in 2006 we went to Iwo Jima together.
That's right.
So I'm here today just to kind of follow up with what I've done with you already, and knowing your story, and you introduced me to Iwo Jima, and just that whole, the Marine Corps tradition of what they've done in war. But I just wanted to thank you for being here, and for who you are and what you've done, and you blessed my life.
Well, you're part of my life.
I'm glad to be a part of your life.
Well, Larry, you are part of my life because of the man upstairs.
Well, you know, what you shared today was very meaningful to me about the blessing, and but you know, I've traveled many, many miles around North America and in Canada, with Canada, United States, and I've met a lot of veterans, Keith, and
I'm sure you have.
I tell you what's sad for me though, people don't see or hear the personal side of my story, so I'm putting it together now in a final documentary called Capturing Courage on Camera, A Journey of Honor. And it's my story. It's a chance for me to tell my story about how I've told all of your stories over the years. And the most important thing that I'm doing now is going into schools, and I talk to young people about the history of our country and our veterans. And I challenge our young people with the thought, you're born in a free country, do you ever think about why you're free? And that opens up a door for me to start talking about my work. And after a program, I'll have a veteran like yourself talk to the students. The kids start to cry. They come up and shake the hands of the veterans, and they're so grateful. And they thank me for teaching them that about freedom not being free. And so they understand the message. So all the stories I started 10 years ago hopefully will continue in our schools, because you tell me, do you think it's important that our young people learn about these stories?
Larry, I'll tell you a story. My daughter had to get a speaker for her high school in Highland High over here.
Okay.
And she had one the first year she was in, and then the second year she told the principal, I want to have my father come and talk to the kids. And the principal says, how old is your father? And she said, he's 90. And the principal just shook. He said, oh, people that are 90, all they do is say, well, I don't remember this, I don't remember that. And she says, well, my dad will hold their interest. And he says, oh, I don't think he can hold their interest. And she says, my dad will hold their interest. And so reluctantly, he let me come in. So I dressed up in my Marine Corps uniform. I couldn't button my collar, but with my wife's help, I was able to get me in there. And we went over to the Highland High School. And the first time I talked, they told me I could have 15 minutes, and they cut it down to 10. And there sits my wife, who is a brilliant cutter down to get the meat. And she gave me a 10-minute talk that was fabulous. And so I memorized it. So the first group I talked to was 350. And then we had a break, and the other veterans were up on the stage. Few of them were in uniform. And then I talked to another 300. And in what I told them, I says, during World War II, I was a Marine Master Gunnery Sergeant in F Company, 2nd Battalion, 25th Marines, 4th Marine Division. And I had a great deal of authority, more so than they have today. And I said, as a result, we have given you our blood, our lives for freedom. And it's up to you to keep that freedom. And what I tell you this, don't give your freedom away for some stupid thing like getting on drugs and alcohol and losing your freedom, where you lose control of your body. We give you this to keep and cherish all your life. And then I ended it, keep your freedom. And they gave me a standing ovation, and they clapped, both groups. And when I came down off the stage, the principal was waiting for me. And as he came down, and he said, Mr. Renstrom, we have people talk here that hit first base. And we have people that hit second base. And we have people that hit third base. But today, we had 2 home runs. Now, Larry, that's what I do for the schools. Now, the next one is a totally different one. And that was on Saipan, when my company commander asked me to take this patrol out. And we went out on the patrol, and one of the men was killed, 3 were wounded, and we accomplished our mission. We come back and reported in, and my thoughts was that, could I have studied harder? Could I have done something different to save his life and to keep those other guys from getting wounded? Well, you have to admit to yourself, you did the best you can do, and that's all that's expected of you. Some of us have to die, and as Marines, we are trained for the Corps, to give our life for the Corps and for our country. And that's how all Marines feel. As we talked about that, when you see a Marine emblem or a hat and we say, Semper Fi, then he returns back to you, do or die, which means I'll take care of my equipment, you take care of yours, and there's nothing that we can't do. And then you shake hands together and look at each other and say, death before dishonor. Now that is the way it used to be said. Now they just say, do or die. But that was how we lived, and that's how the Marine Corps are trained, and we trained to love our country. In fact, in our song we sing, first to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We're proud to claim the title, United States Marine.
The hardest part for me of my work is probably seeing these veterans for the first and last time. it's rare that I can come back a second time like I'm doing now and revisit what I consider an old warrior. I just finished a film called An Old Warrior, and it follows me and a World War II Navy veteran through the schools in the Denver area, and it shows how slow he's moving today. He's very slow to move, but he still has that same fighting spirit to go into the schools. But Keith, I feel like I'm on a very reflective journey in my life right now, and most people don't know the behind the scenes story of what I go through. The personal side, Nancy knows, but
Okay.
but you know.
No. Grab my wrist.
Okay.
Now you're being held by a warrior. And this is what the Romans used to do after the battles, was hold their hand, and there's a hand that you got is your right hand, and that's the sword you fight with, and that's the sword you harm, you kill with. And as a result, Larry, I give you credit for all the patience and the time and the money that you have spent in talking to us veterans who have lived through some of the most trying things that you can imagine. I've been blown up twice. I've been wounded twice. I've left my blood on 2 of the islands of the Pacific, and so has other veterans. You've met them all, and they all have their stories to tell. So Larry, thank you from the bottom of my heart of being Larry Capello.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now you're standing in the position of attention. Prepare to salute. Salute. 2. Welcome aboard.
Semper Fi.
Do or die.
Always faithful.
Death before dishonor.
I love you.
Well, we love you.
Okay.
There you got it.